Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry for the tech difficulties that we were having, but alhamdulillah we've got it up and running, and inshallah we'll get started. So this is inshallah going to be a two-part series where I will today go through the administration process of going for Hajj as a Western pilgrim. And then next week, inshallah, Imam Iqbal, he's going to go through the process of the fiqh of Hajj. And obviously, I think he will probably do another workshop closer to it. But the reason that you're getting this in February, right, or January rather than closer to Hajj, which is going to be probably sometime early June, is the fact that the process for application has started, right? So we'll go through what that means, what that looks like. We'll go through some administrative hoops that you're going to have to climb through. But inshallah, I think you have, let's say, about 20 days or so. February 9th is when the packages are going to go out. I'll show you live. I'll show you the slides. But from now, you want to go home after this. If you're serious about going Hajj, you want to go home today and get registered. This is very, very important because it will take some time for you to get verified, and we'll talk about that inshallah. So that's really a lot of people back in the day, going to Hajj was you would go and you would pay an agent, X amount of money, and they would take care of everything for you. This is when Hajj logistics companies used to work on the ground over there. Now the way that the process has changed is that it's all managed centrally by the Saudi government over a platform. It's called Nusuk. And so you can't simply just go now and pay somebody an X amount of money to go to Hajj, right? You have to do some administrative steps, some research, etc., and then you'll be able to go, inshallah. My first Hajj was in 2015, and it was very, very, just pay somebody money, go, and it's done. Also, the cost at that time, 10 years ago now, were a lot less than they are now. We'll talk about costs as well that you're likely going to see. I'll give you reference prices of the package that we go on. So I personally, the reason I'm doing this is because I myself am a Hajj guide. Yeah, so I have a commitment to go to Hajj every year, and we take a package. We take it from Canada, from the US, and from the UK. So we have an allotment, and really the big motivation is to see people get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's really what it is for, all about. It's a volunteer thing, but obviously the flip side is we get to go to Hajj every year, which is obviously nice, right? So I was there at Hajj in 2024 last year. Went through the system. I didn't get a chance to go in 2023, but I managed the process, the admin stuff. So our group is called Hajj with AE. We're not really Hajj operators in the traditional sense, meaning that we don't have a business set up. You don't give us any money. What we do is we set up the program, right? And I'll talk about that inshallah. But again, you're going to. This is not specifically like an advertisement for the group that I go with. It's just more a general overview of everything that you need to get done so that you can go, and all the things that you need to consider in going for Hajj. So inshallah, getting started, we'll talk about the new Hajj process and the role of Nusok, who's who, and what do you need to be aware of. All of the service countries, how is Nusok running, which countries are involved, which countries aren't. We have some registration videos that are available for you to follow along. So in case you are serious about going to Hajj this year, inshallah, and may Allah invite us, you can follow these video guides if you haven't done so already, if you haven't created an account. We'll talk about what are some package considerations, what are the different components that go into building out a package, all the pricing, all the factors that you'll see that you will then be able to make an informed decision on who to go with and what to do. And then we'll talk about the landscape. So you're going to see some terminology when you go for the registration process. So we'll break that down. What is Azizia? Where is everything in relation to everything else? Yeah. We'll talk about factors in considering to choosing a program. I'll talk a little bit about, I have some couple of slideshows of some of the experience that our Hujjaj had in 2024. I'll share with you some reference prices. Obviously, package prices are going to differ from provider to provider, but at least I'll share with you the prices that we had in 2024, and this will give you some planning, so you can plan your finances, and then just a checklist. And then we'll open it up for any questions in case you have questions. So obviously, a lot of it being online now, there's not that big of an opportunity to ask questions to somebody who is very well familiar with the process. So this was that opportunity, basically. That's the big reason that we put this on, myself and Imam Iqbal. So who is who in the new Hajj process? Obviously, this process was launched in 2022, I want to say, and it has been evolving ever since. So the Hujjaj who went on 2022 on this new Nusuk platform was a very different experience than, I would say, even last year. Obviously, some logistical challenges are still there, but for the most part, it's like, the first implementation was very rough, very difficult for people, and now it's getting better. So inshallah, we're hoping that when things go live this year, that things will go much smoother. I'm not going to say there's not going to be any difficulties, because you have to keep in mind, for Canada, last year I think we had a quota of about 1,800 Hujjaj that are going from Canada on a Canadian passport or a permanent residency card, a PR card. This year likely is going to be about the same. So US around 3,800, 3,600, UK around the same, and you have all of these Western Hujjaj logging onto this platform, and packages just go like this, right? And the other byproduct is that the website crashes. That's the other thing, right? So you might go through some. Hopefully there won't be those issues this year, right? But obviously things, as I mentioned, are getting better as time goes on. So Hajj is exclusively for Western pilgrims on Nusuk now, and think of Nusuk as an Amazon, right? So when you create an Amazon account, you first have to enter your credit card details, you create an account, and then you are able to buy from different sellers, different products, right? So think about Nusuk as an Amazon, specifically for Hajj, specifically managed by the Saudi government, and you will see different package providers who are going to be listing their packages. So it has a whole process, right? There's a registration process, there's a verification process, there's an e-wallet system. We'll talk about that, what that means. And so there are only those companies that are registered inside Saudi Arabia are able to be a service provider on the ground. And these are going to be 13 different companies, okay? The one that we go with, they are the biggest and the best. Their name is Al Bayt, but there are others as well, like Abdul Latif Jamil, MCDC, and others, and it'll come on the next slide. So these are the guys who are running the show in terms of buses, in terms of movements, in terms of providing dinners, lunches, breakfast, hotel bookings, Mina accommodations, Muzdalifah accommodations, Arafah accommodations. These are basically running the show. These guys are running the show on the ground. So when you pick, now not every one of them, like last year I think it was 7. The year before that was even less. So some of them have come on board just now, right, for this year, that are new for 2025. So one factor to consider is when you are picking a service provider, right? They'll have different packages. You'll be able to filter by package provider. Do some research into those who have already gone and have some experience on the ground versus, I would say, picking those that are completely new to the game, right? Because those who have the experience, those who have the connections, etc., it's going to be a much smoother logistical process for you, if that makes sense. And that becomes a big challenge when things go wrong. It's all well and good if everything goes right, but in Hajj, things are going to go wrong, and you're going to have to deal with it. So it's a game of patience. It's a game of perseverance. It's a game of, having the right mindset, right? Having the right mindset, because oftentimes in Western countries, we are used to a certain level of service, right? If we don't get that level of service, you feel like you're kind of shortchanged, right? So one thing, adjust your mindset. Things are going to go wrong. It's 3 or 4 million people who are going for Hajj. Your bus is going to be late. If you give you any time, that time, take it as a 2 to 3 hour window. So if they say they're going to come at 4 p.m. to pick you up, they could show up at 8 p.m. at night, or they could show up earlier even. That also happens. So it's a mindset thing. I think it's very, very important for us who are going to prepare ourselves and be in that right mindset. Don't go into thinking, and it doesn't matter how much you pay, right? There's no correlation, at least from what I can tell you, there's no correlation from the amount of money that you pay and the experience that you have. Those are two separate things, right? I know one of our brothers who went from Calgary, he went with his father. He paid something crazy, like $27,000 for his package last year. Terrible experience. Absolutely terrible experience, right? So this is where research comes in. This is where you're going to go and look for providers who have the experience on the ground. Like, I'll give you one example. What happened last year, one of the sisters, she came with us, and we were just talking about this in a webinar the other day. Having somebody who is experienced, has the buying power, has the volume, has the purchase. This sister, she showed up. So our departures last year was from Toronto, New York, London, and Manchester, in the UK. So I was assigned to New York last year, so I went to New York. And one of the sisters from the US, she showed up, and she found out on the day of the check-in at the airport that she has the wrong passport, right? So what happens now, right? If it was anybody else, now keep in mind, flights that are going for Hajj during that time, they're all full. Everything is full. Everything is busy. When you burn a ticket, those tickets are very expensive tickets as well, right? They're not like your $2,000 ticket to, during that time, peak period, everyone is going to Hajj. You're looking at $4,500, $5,000 a ticket. So having Al Bayt being partnered with us, being one of the biggest, one of the best, it made her life a lot easier. I gave them a call. I was there, and it took about 20 minutes. We put her, and again, I don't want to say that they're going to do this every time or this is going to happen. It's just, this was a time of patience, of being tested for her, and you're going to be tested at Hajj. This is something to keep in mind. You're going to be tested with these types of moments. You show up, you have the wrong passport, right? So imagine, and she was from another city, right? So she's actually tried to travel to the airport. Her house was not like, you're going from Calgary to the Calgary airport. Her departure city was somewhere else. But Al Bayt, they went above and beyond because they're buying hundreds of thousands of tickets from Saudi Airlines. They made one call, we need a ticket for next day. So she went, got her passport, we got her on a flight the next day, and she paid $0, right? So this is where these things come into play. When everything is going right, you're going to have a great experience with everybody. But it's when things go wrong, that's when it pays to have somebody like that. Now, you also hear about marketing partners, right? Strategic partners or marketing partners. This is referring to those people who are designing the schedule, right? Those are designing the program, meaning that, hey, we're going to do Medina first, or we're going to do Makkah first. We're going to spend this amount of time here. We're going to spend this amount of time here. We want to give this level of experience, etc. So those are, like for us, we're called Hajj with AE. It's run by my teacher. His name is Abu Isa Nematullah. He's from the UK. There's others like Darussalam, for example. They're also a very big name. Darussalam is also a strategic marketing partner. They're partnered with somebody else. And Qalam, for example, Light Upon Light, which is a conference with the UK, for example. These are all partners that are designing the program, right? So they deal directly with Al Bayt, and they're the ones that are kind of your representatives, if you will, on the ground, right? So this is how it all kind of works. Now, SA is the website here, yeah? This is where you want to go. If you're serious about going to Hajj and you haven't registered on this website, you want to go and do that ASAP, okay? ASAP, right after you leave here. Like this is very, very important that you do that. We have published guides, so Nusuk guide and photo resizing guide. What you're going to have to do, are you guys registered on this website? You are? You are? Is anybody not registered who's planning on going? Okay, so you want to do that right away, bro. All right? Because what's going to happen, and we have these guides that are available. Yeah, these Nusuk guide. So, you know Arif, brother Arif, he just left now. He's no longer in Canada. But he's also one of our Hajj guides, actually. He's put these together, and this will tell you how to resize your photo, because you're going to have to, in this registration process, I think it's a 10-part form that you're going to have to fill out, okay? It goes through your name, all the vaccinations you have, all the places you've traveled to. It's gonna require you to upload your passport and a photo. It doesn't have to be a photo that's professionally shot. It just has specific guidelines. Yeah. So go to these. Are you in our Telegram group, the Hajj with AE one? You don't think so? Okay. So I have a QR code at the end of this presentation. Just scan that, and then you can get access to these guides. Yeah, or just write down this Hajj with AE 2020 t.me, Hajj with AE 2025/18 and /17, and it'll take you to it. Yeah, it's on Telegram, basically. So you want to do that ASAP. Now, the majority of people have actually registered, but they are under verification, right? So who's been verified already? You've been verified? You have been verified? A couple of days ago? Not yet? Okay. So it's completely normal for you not to be verified. It's perfectly okay. They're going to now open up the packages for viewing tomorrow, right? I'll go through the timeline, inshallah. And don't worry about verification, okay? If you feel that your photo is somehow wrong or something like that, then maybe message us. Yeah, message me, tell me your name, etc. Because we have access to Al Bayt, who has access to the Ministry of Hajj. So a lot of people last year, they didn't have their wallets activated, etc., etc. So we will help you take care of that, whether you're coming with us or not. Yeah, we just want to get people to Hajj, and that's basically the big intention. Inshallah, we get some of the ajr of whatever you end up doing. And then the e-wallets are going to become active between the 2 Mina camps. Then the next factor is going to be your rooming configuration. So on Nusuk, when you register, right, when you're going to be able to see packages, you'll see 3 prices. One is for a double room, meaning that you'll be sharing with another person. One is for a triple room, meaning sharing in 3, and a quad. There is no single, at least there wasn't last year. I don't know if there's no single this year as well. And obviously the double, you're paying more, roughly around 2,000 riyals it was last year. You'll see the comparison in the prices that we had last year. But double is going to be your more expensive option. Triple is going to be the next. Quad is going to be the cheapest. Okay? Quad, again, like I said, everything has its pros and cons. Double might be good if you're going with your wife. Maybe she has special needs, or you have some special needs that need to be looked after. Double, a big advantage of double is washroom. You know, it's just only 2 people sharing one washroom versus in a quad, 4 people sharing a washroom. The double packages, also I want to say, are going to go like this. Yeah, they're going to be the ones that go the fastest. Now, if you're going to Hajj, chances are you're probably not going, and you're going with your spouse, chances are you're probably not there to have like a romantic honeymoon anyways. Yeah, you're going there for Hajj. So the experience, if you ask me, I will pick a quad every day of the week. Right? The people that you're with, you build good friendships, you will have, good friends, etc. But if you need the double, you need the double, right? But I'm just telling you pros, cons of each. The biggest probably factor is the washroom situation. Everything else is, and this is also where going with like-minded people makes it a big difference. So like our group attracts a very specific kind of like-minded crowd, in the sense that there are people who are serious about knowledge. They're serious about doing things as per the Sunnah. They're serious about being in service to the people, right? So we create this kind of group dynamic in our group where everyone is helping another person, right? Doesn't matter. Like everyone is helping, everyone is considerate. Like this is something that we encourage from the people, right? You're going to have to make sacrifices, right? Don't go in with the mindset that you're going to obviously do your Hajj, but hey, if you can help 5-10 people alongside doing it, you're going to maximize your reward, right? So we spend a lot of time in our program on spiritual development and activities and things like that. But then again, it comes into play when you're sharing a room with very like-minded people, right? Compared to sharing a room with people who are just couldn't care. They're just there for get the tick box Hajj done, simple. They're just there for the, whatever, right? Then the next thing we should talk about is vaccinations. Vaccinations, the one that's mandated by the Saudi government that you will need is the ACWY meningitis vaccine. Okay? A really good place here in Calgary to get your vaccination is this Ranchlands Pharmacy. Okay? Brother Arshad is the one who runs it. You can say Brother Danish referred me or whatever, doesn't matter. He takes care of Hujjaj in a very, very good way. This is something that they're not going to check, at least, again, I don't know how much the checking is going to be, but I'm talking from just again, I'm not a medical professional, but our group has a lot of medical professionals in it, right? Our Hajj team. It's a big I want to say they were talking about either not last year, but the year before last year. Somebody blagged it. Blagged it meaning that they said that they got the meningitis vaccine, but they didn't. Yeah? Because you have to remember the proof of vaccination is different from even pharmacy to pharmacy. All they need is something that says pharmacy name, you've taken it. They'll take your word for it. So somebody actually, basically lied about it. They got there and they got meningitis. And meningitis it could kill you, right? It's not something you want to have during Hajj. So from a protection perspective, obviously tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, but then you want to take the means too, right? So meningitis is officially on your Hajj visa is going to be required as per the rules. COVID vaccine, not required. Okay, if you didn't get it, no problem. It was a factor year before last year. You had to have it. This year, it wasn't. It was and then it wasn't. Yeah, so the rules are also changing all the time. This is something you have to keep in mind. The rules are also always changing. So get that vaccination before you leave. Yeah, it's valid for 3 years or 5 years. I think the one he gives is valid for 5 years. But he knows his stuff. Yeah, you go to him, he will give you probably 5 or 10 different other vaccinations that you should have. Yeah, that will inshallah help you with traveler's diarrhea. It's also a good idea to have some basic antibiotics with you. Pink eye medication. Pink eye is big there because you're dealing with 5 million people that are coming. They have all sorts of diseases. Yeah, they're going to have all sorts of infections. You want to try and protect yourself as much as possible. So when somebody asks me, I tell them, take pink eye medication because I've dealt with that myself in the past. Take antibiotics, so azithromycin or something like that, that will protect you from traveler's diarrhea, etc. He also gives Ducorol, which is a good vaccination for traveler's diarrhea. Yeah, because when you're sick and you're over there, pharmacies you have, but you don't want to be dealing with that while you're there. Yeah, so get a dose from him before you go, and that way you can start a course as soon as you with some medical consult. Yeah, we'll talk about what that means. Yeah. There's no issues. No, there's no issues. I've never had an issue before. Then you're going to have something called e-wallet. How does the e-wallet work? Right? So now the package process is going to open tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow what's going to happen, you're going to be able to see what exactly each package has and how much that package costs. So when they first rolled they first, rolled out the Nusuk system. There was no e-wallet. E-wallet came in 2024, yeah, this last year. And it's great. Honestly, it's great. In 2022, you had to make, and 2023, the only way to pay was bank transfer, right? So the way it was, they would make you reserve your package, and they say your package is held for 3 days, and you have 3 days to get the money through. Now, bank transfer, the guidelines they gave weren't the most clear. There were errors, things like that. To get a bank transfer over to Saudi Arabia took 5 days. And they held your thing for 3 days to get your payment in. They gave an option for cash centers, which was a complete, it was like some shack, like in Toronto somewhere, that somebody went to it and it's like, oh, this looks like it's abandoned. Yeah. So now, last year they rolled this e-wallet system, which is like a digital wallet on their platform. You're gonna make a payment to this wallet. You'll have about 20 days until February 19th. You'll be able to see prices tomorrow. Then you have 20 days or 19 days to get whatever money, whatever package you choose, to get the money on the system. My recommended is that you use a card. Don't mess around with bank transfer. Last year we had a lot of people who took that option and it was disaster, right? I would start, wallet should be active starting tomorrow. Once you're registered, start putting in some, I think after verification. So you'll be able to top it up probably. You might not, because you require verification, okay? So once the wallet is active, you make a little test transfer, 10 riyals or $10 or something, make sure everything is working. It's very important that you have that e-wallet active. Because a lot of people, what they did last year, they didn't make their wallet active until the packages were released. And then at the end, then there was no way to activate it. Like you couldn't put any money in the wallet in the third or fourth phase of the rollout. So then we had to go and al-bayt put in some, money like 7 or 8 riyals or whatever the minimum was, so that person's wallet become active so that they can then make the transfer. So I know personally, here in Canada, because I did this for my wife last year, TD Visa, it worked, okay? MBNA, MasterCard, it worked. CIBC Visa, it worked. Wise card. So I don't know if you guys know about Wise, but Wise is like is basically like a digital bank, yeah. And Wise gave the best rates basically, whereas your credit card, again, depends which card you have, which one you want to use. Some people have 0 foreign transaction fees. So the prices that you're going to see tomorrow are going to be in Saudi riyals, right? Meaning that you make your payment here in Canadian dollars, and then it will translate into Saudi riyals over there, yeah? Meaning that, let's say you put $100 in, 100 Canadian, then your bank is going to charge you the exchange rate, and the exchange rate might not be the greatest, right? So it might not be what you see on Google. So there's a percentage there, and then they might charge you 1.5% to 3% or whatever, depending on a card. This is different for every card. Wise, in my experience, worked really well, meaning it gave the best rates, right? And don't mess around with cash. Don't mess around with bank transfer. It's failed more than anything, yeah? So you also want to have just a little bit more. So if your package is costing 50,000 Saudi riyals, you want to have maybe 51,000. You want to have maybe 52,000. Just have it a little extra, because last year they put some VAT on it as well, yeah? So then, you don't want to get into a situation where you don't have enough money, right? So when things go live, because like I said, last year, there's so much demand, everything crashes, yeah? Any questions regarding the e-wallet?
Says verified, but then it's saying pick up package and for me it's waiting for the e-wallet.
Yes. E-wallet has not been activated yet.
Then I will go tomorrow, pick up package and
Yeah.
become active.
Yeah. So right now, the package options that it's showing you, like luxury shifting and all that stuff, that's
That's a category, right? That's not a real package.
that's not a real, yeah. And that category has no meaning.
Yeah.
It has no meaning, it has no significance, nothing. Right? The packages that are going to be released tomorrow, that's going to be the package.
So I pick one of them and then it will activate my wallet.
and then you can put it in your cart, right? So you'll be able to see packages, and you'll be able to put them in the cart. And then then you'll have these 20 days or 19 days to top up your wallet. If, likely the package is going to be very expensive, so your card is not going to let it go in one go. So you're going to have to make incremental payments. Like for my wife last year, I did around 50 payments of 999 Saudi riyals. It seemed like over 1,000 was not working for some reason. So you're going to have these issues, yeah? So make sure when things go, you work these things out, yeah? And we're there to help you. Inshallah, I'll be there to help you, yeah? If you need anything, because this is basically what we do.
E-wallet will not be active until I put something in the card.
Correct. E-wallet will be, they'll start activating e-wallets tomorrow. So you should be able to put 10 riyals, $10, whatever. Get it, start the process, yeah?
As long as there's some balance, then it's active.
Yes. As long as there's some, and I think there is a minimum that you can top it up to. Yeah, and it's like $10 or something like that, yeah? 10 riyals or $10 or something like that. But get it active. This is very important. And then whatever package you choose, then you're going to top it up to that and however many people are going. Refunds. So in case you top up the wallet and you're not picking a package, right? Nusuk charges a 1.5% fee on top of whatever the bank charge is going to be, on top of whatever the exchange rate fluctuation is going to be when you get that money back. But they do make the refund, so it's no problem. If you go and purchase a package and then want a refund, they're going to have a timeline. So if it's like 30 days before, you get this percentage back. If it's 75 days before, you get this percentage back. If you get 100 days before, it gets this percentage back. Okay? But inshallah, the money does come back. Yeah? It's no problem.
Yeah, I guess on that line, the refund line, the question that I have is, if you decide to not go for Hajj this year for whatever reason, X, Y, and Z reason, you keep the money in the wallet, not refund it?
So they did not allow people from last year to keep the funds carry over to this year. They had to get a refund. And yeah, I don't know what they're going to do for this year. But last year that was the case. And I don't know if you also want your money tied up, that kind of money tied up in a foreign platform. 1.5. 1.5%. And on top of that, the exchange rate difference. Yeah. So for example, you purchase a package now, or you make the payment now. The exchange rate fluctuates between 1 or 2%, and actually the Canadian dollar is not doing so well right now. So the Saudi riyal is also tied to the US dollar. Now the US dollar is projected to go down again. I'm not an economist either, but from everything I've seen, once this new president-elect comes in, the idea is that probably the dollar will go down a little bit. At least it's what I'm expecting. No idea what's going to happen. Yes?
I mean, not that it matters this year, but so if somebody has in their profile family members, say 3,
Yes.
and then they pick the triple, then they will get all 3 in one.
So this is a good point. The Nusuk system, the way that it's designed, it guarantees you a bed in a triple room. That doesn't mean that your party of 3 is guaranteed to be together. This is where marketing partners and the provider that you choose come in to the picture. Yeah? So you make a request. So that line of communication is very important. So when we see a family of 3 is getting a triple, we put them together. But Nusuk, and for the most part, we can do it. I would say we can only give a 99% guarantee that we can do it. There is going to be that 1%, that one family that might not be together because of the different package configurations, etc. Yeah? But when you're buying a package on Nusuk, it guarantees you're buying a bed inside a room. You're not buying the room. So remember that. And all people in your profile have to you can only pick one type of room. Meaning that you cannot pick a quad and your wife be in a double and your daughter be in a triple. if you're going to be in a quad, everyone's in a quad. And if you pick quad and you're a group of 3 and you're with your wife, they're going to put your wife with 3 other females, and they're going to put you, and if you have a son, with 2 other males, or if you have a daughter, then your wife and your daughter is going to be with 2 other females, and you're going to be with 3 other males. If you've chosen a quad, yeah. So this is something to keep in mind. That was a good question. Anything else? Yes. I have a slide, so you can take a picture of that slide. Yeah.
That is both land plus flights.
That is group flights going from Toronto.
There are no land only options.
There will be land only options where you can pick a flight separately onto the Nusuk system itself. Once all the quota is exhausted, remember I was talking about all the visas then are going to be pulled, but there's no guarantee you're going to get that.
It's risky to
Once all the visas are exhausted, that's it.
That's not recommended.
I would not recommend you hold out. I would recommend you get a group flight and do it that way so you secure your spot for Hajj. That's a very risky move and it could go either way. Yeah. So yeah, here's again the landscape where everything is in reference to everything else. So Haram, Aziziyah, we talked about shifting, non-shifting. This is where the Jamarat are. Yeah, this is where you do the stoning. This is where the Mina camps are. This is where Muzdalifah is. Yeah, you're gonna have to spend a night in Muzdalifah. So next week when you come, Imam Iqbal is gonna talk about spending a night in Muzdalifah and Arafah. So Arafah is down here, and for the majority of it, your transportation is going to be all through bus. So when you're ready to go to Mina, you're going to be transported in a bus from your Makkah hotel to Mina, or from your Aziziyah hotel to Mina. Yeah? Then from Mina, you're going to have a bus that takes you to Arafah. And that bus, that's also going to be a bus ride. You can walk it, but it's very long, like a 2-hour walk in the heat of the sun. Probably don't want to do it. Yeah? And then from Arafah to Muzdalifah, you also have a bus that takes you from Arafah to Muzdalifah. Then Muzdalifah on the 10th, after spending the night in Muzdalifah, there's going to be buses that take you back to Mina. Or you can walk it, because Muzdalifah and Mina are not too far away. Yeah? So the way it works on the 10th, after you get the best night of your life in Muzdalifah, in the open ground with millions and millions of other people, you're going to then get up and you're going to see this sea of people just making a move, right? And they're all going to Mina. So the police are going to try and get you to Mina. This is where they're going to drive you. So you're going to go to Mina, and then you have to go to Jamarat, to stone, and then you go to the Haram to perform your tawaf, and then you got to come back for Mina the night. So that day of the 10th, so Eid, when everybody's chilling back home, that's going to be your hardest day in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's going to be the most physically challenging day. You're going to be the most tired because you're not sleeping in your bed or any bed. Maybe you're not sleeping in any bed, right? It's going to be carpets. They carpet it in Muzdalifah. So not only do you're not working on a lot of sleep, but you might the busiest day you're going to have to walk everywhere. More than likely, you're going to have to walk everywhere. Yeah, and heat, So what I like to do, and so our group gives all options, right? We have 10 guides. My teacher last year, he went straight. So he went Muzdalifah, stopped in Mina, got some water, got some ice, then went straight to Jamarat, stone, then went straight to Makkah, to the Haram, do his tawaf, come back to then Aziziyah, he slept, and then we went back to Mina for the night. Yeah, because you have to spend the night in Mina. What I do usually, this is the group of people I took. I think I took maybe 115 people or so that were with me on that day. We came from Muzdalifah. We went to Mina. We went from Mina to Jamarat. From Jamarat, we went to our Aziziyah building. And we had a nice sleep. We had a nice 3-4 hour nap. Then we got up. Then we went to the Haram. We did tawaf. We came back to Aziziyah, took a shower, and then went towards Mina. So you'll have options. You'll have options, right? But again, now keep in mind, if you're here in the Haram, it's difficult on that day. It's difficult on that day, getting to the Haram and back. Yeah? So this provides you a nice little rest stop it makes a big difference, to be able to get a few hours of sleep. So
All these movements are group movements.
these are group movements, yes. But you also have to keep in mind, so we prepare our Hujjaj. The way we prepare them, we do these walks before the days of Hajj, so everyone knows where everything is. Because you're in a group of 5 million people. You're going to get lost. Because we have like our group, this year last year we had 400 people. And this year we're supposed to take 540 people. You put 540 people in the middle of 5 million people, others, all walking at different places, different abilities. Some are going to walk faster, some are going to get slower. You need to know your whereabouts. It's important for you. So there's a way of managing this. The way we manage it, we get everybody, we tell them, you need to have an unlocked cell phone when you get there. Everyone in our group, we obligate them, you get a SIM card and you have some data available. Then you log on to Telegram. Telegram is like WhatsApp. WhatsApp doesn't work. Telegram works for calling, everything. We tell them, okay, we're going to share our location, where we're going to be. So all the guides, there's like a little map. You can do it in WhatsApp as well, right? So you just want to make sure that if you get lost, that you either call one of the guides, or to reference where you are, or you follow the dot and you follow the movement. We're all going to be together for the most part. But it might be the case that some of us, like I said, on the day of Hajj, some of them want to go and get it done with right away so that they have a longer extended period of time to rest. Some of them, they want that rest in the middle because they're really tired. Everything, so there's those things that come in play. But you're always going to have a guide with you, at least in our package. I can't speak for other packages. I can't, right? We had some people last year who didn't even know who their guides were, right? So this is when going with a package that's going to look after you becomes very, very important. Yeah. Again, now, when is Isha here? 7:30. So we have 23 minutes, inshallah. So factors to consider in choosing a program. The number one thing is, what is the spiritual guidance look like? Are you going to have a chance to answer questions? Are you going to be there? Is somebody going to be able to answer your fiqh questions? Are you going to have, somebody there to ask whatever it is that you need to ask, yeah? Or is a person just going to come, show their face once and then leave, right? Many people, they pick a package, they get abused in this way, right? They only see the guy maybe once the whole trip and the guy's gone, yeah? Do you have a question? No. 2, access to doctors. So there are hospitals, like I said, people do get sick, right? Are there doctors on the team itself? Like we have a Hajj doctor that comes with us. He brings a bag of medicine with him, right? He every day of the Hajj, he's dealing with women's issues, like menstruation, things like that, giving them medicine so that, they can, perform Hajj in a good way, right? Or he's dealing with sickness, yeah? So having a doctor and people who are able to administer first aid on the team, able to write your prescription, able to have medicine and give it to you there on the spot is very important. So these are some questions you want to ask. I'm not saying pick our program. I'm just saying these are things you want to consider based on my experience of going many years. Yeah. Number 2, what does the program look like? Is there an actual program there, or is it just they leave you there, right? They take you there, they leave you, and then that's it, right? So this is also very important. Last year there were some packages, they're called the Z packages, and they were for people who know the A to Z of Hajj themselves. They were literally no guide, no nothing, you just go, here's your accommodation, that's it, you're on your own, right? So what does the program look like? This is very important. The second thing, language of the program. Some people in Calgary last year, I know, one of my friends chose, because our program was completely full by that time, he chose a program from Montreal. It didn't say that the program was going to be in French only. So he was stuck, right? All of the program was in French. And this guy didn't speak French, right? So this is, again, very important that you have whatever language it is that you need, that the instruction is given in that language. right? Or that the people, if you're not struggle with English, that you have people on the guides who are able to speak a different language. What does the pre-Hajj activities look like, right? Is there Umrah prep videos? Is there, a Hajj seminar that they're going to do? Is there going to be, menstruation for women, for the ladies? How is that going to be planned out? Because it has to be planned out a few days in advance. It has to be planned out a few months in advance, right? It's because, when you're in that heat, right? Women's cycles, they get very irregular, right? When, a woman is supposed to menstruate, because of the intense heat, because of the stress that the body goes into, it might completely go off the rails, right? So there needs to be some planning. There's some fiqh that is involved with that. And maybe Imam Iqbal will touch, women's fiqh next time, what to do when it comes to menstruation. But that's a big topic. That's a very important thing for women, right? How are you preparing for that? How is the group helping you prepare for that, right? When it comes to the Hajj itself, right? Are you going to have tours, activities? How is this program going to spiritually make sure that you have the best Hajj of your life? How is it going to make sure that you have the best experience of your life, the way that it's supposed to be? How are you going to make sure that you're doing the Hajj as per the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? Again, Hajj is very easy. It's very difficult to do something wrong in Hajj, right? Like everyone is making tawaf one way. You're not going to go the other way, right? Everyone's going to Arafah. You're not going to go to like somewhere else. It's very difficult to mess it up. But to do it at a level, right, where it is the very best possible, again, how is a group enabling you to do that? This is very important. And then after Hajj, what is the mentorship available? These are all factors that go into a Hajj program itself. So I have a sample here of the program that we put together, right? This is our sample from last year. So you see all the yellow parts is, and you might not be able to see it very well, but the yellow parts are all the travel, the times we travel from place to place. The white parts are kind of the major, days of the major, like the Umrah, for example, is white here. The days of Hajj, where we're going to be in Arafah, in Mina, etc. These are all the green are all the activities that we do. Yeah, the purple is like the personal development time. All the red is like the rest and the shopping, etc. So we put a lot of thought into our program. We put a lot of thought into it. Everything is very detailed. Everything is very, very detailed. And what that leads into is to enable you to have a very good experience, inshallah. Right? If you go to, and again, maybe I'll make a short plug about our program. It's hajjwithae.com. See if something that is of interest to you. But we would love to have you, and the people who come with us have a very good time. And actually, if you look at our reviews, it's very, in this day and age, if you don't provide what you promise, it's very easy for people to out you, right? So you'll see all the reviews, etc. Everything is very, very transparent. So this was our group from 2024, and we had about 400 people with us. These are all the sisters that came with us. This is from some of the activities. I'm just going through this very, very fast because I don't want to spend too much time. I don't want to make this a plug, but this is like a group tawaf activity that we do where we all go and do tawaf. And Sheikh Abu Isa, he talks about all the history around the Kaaba. This is just going into the Haram, and this is our group tawaf. This is just before us going into Umrah. So this is an important slide because it's talking about the package prices that people paid last year to come with our program. So you're looking this year probably this and expect it to increase by maybe 5 to 10%. Now our program, as I mentioned, there's no correlation between how much you pay and what you get, right? Our program, I would say, is somewhere in the middle. It's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive, but this is what you're looking. So for Canada, for departure from YYZ, the double was about 52,000 reals, triple was 49, and the quad was 48. Yeah. So this gives you at least a rough idea of what to expect. And it's going to be 5 to 10% more probably this year. This is what is expected. And we never know. It might get cheaper. Who knows? So these are the key dates. This is what you have to remember. Okay. This is very important to know these timelines. So tomorrow, 20th of Rajab, packages are available for viewing only and activation of digital wallets. Okay. So tomorrow, you're going to have packages going live. Yeah? Meaning for viewing only. Then, you're going to start purchasing on the 9th of February. The 9th of February. Yeah? And as soon as it goes live, you have to be on the ball. You have to be on the ball if you want the package. This is very important. And we will help you with that, inshallah, if you need the help. Yeah? And then the global package that we're talking about, so all the leftover allotment, all the leftover quota, they're going to open it on the 14th of February. But again, there's no guarantee this is actually going to happen. Yeah? So just keep in mind, if I was serious about going to Hajj, this is when I would want to come. This is when I want to get my package. Be ready. Have your research done. Who you want to go with. What are they going to do for you? What does the program look like? By the 9th of February. This is very, very important. And then the checklist. Yeah, so the checklist is number one, make lots of dua. It all starts with dua. Without dua, nothing is going to happen. Right? Get registered and verified on Nusuk. So those of you who haven't done it, make sure you do that the first thing you go. You're going to be asked for your flight into the country. Don't worry about that. Just put SV001 or it's just a token. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you want updates, join the Telegram group that we have. So if I take this out of presentation mode, you'll be able to scan a little QR code that will help you join, because my picture is hiding it, isn't it? And I don't know how to take that off. Maybe, no, because I'm recording this, so it's not going to take it off. Anyways, I'll show it to you. Make sure you're up to date with announcements. This is the announcements channel that will be. Start adding funds to your e-wallet to make sure it's activated. Research programs starting tomorrow. Again, they're going to be live. Be patient. This is like we call it the Hajj before the Hajj now. This is probably the most stressful part about going to Hajj, other than the physical exertion, right? Follow announcements and important updates, and have hope. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan for everybody. If it's written for you to go to Hajj, you will go to Hajj inshallah this year. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invite us all to do Hajj. So I will leave that. We have some time now for question and answers. We have a little bit of time before Salat Isha. Yes.
Just a question. So I was late. So do we need to have Canadian citizenship to be?
Yeah. So you can register on the Nusuk process if you have Canadian citizenship or a permanent resident card. So PR card is also fine, as long as they require you to have permanent residence in Canada to be able to go on a Canadian package. And when you look at packages, there will be a Canadian flag next to the Canadian package. Yeah, just be careful not to choose a French one if you don't speak French. This is last year. It's gonna unless you speak French, it's gonna be difficult during Hajj. That depends on the marketing partner. Yes, correct. Anything else?
If you're planning to go, let's say, with your spouse, do you need proof of marriage or anything?
You don't. Because you will each be going on your individual visas. And individual visas are going to be issued to you within the Nusuk platform. And they're going to be issued by the Ministry of Hajj, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Hajj. It's called MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia. So now you don't actually need a mahram to go to. So it would just be like an individual process, right? You don't need to prove that you're married. Women can go just by themselves, and vice versa.
But say if you want to stay in the same room.
No, it's honor system. Again, this is something to work out with the marketing partner or their service provider that you go, but they don't ask. We don't ask.
But they should add them as a companion, right?
Yeah, correct. So you can, on the Nusuk system, you can register. If you're a family, you will be the lead pilgrim, or your wife can be the lead pilgrim, and you would be added onto her profile. So whatever package you choose, you're choosing for the both of you. Being on the same profile enables you both to stay together. If you, for example, are now separately registered, that means that you could get a package, but if the visa system is gone, she might not be able to, if you're separate, right? But if you're together, it means either you're both going or you're both not going. Right? But if it's separate, you could do separately as well if you wanted to. But but there's several factors. It's better to do it as a family if you're going to be doing it as a family. Yeah? The separate, you have no guarantee. One, that you're going to have the visa for both of you. And two is the place on the packages. You don't have a guarantee that the place is going to be there.
Is there a way to take kids with you and not get the whole package? Like they are going on Saudi visa
Yeah.
and stay
The
there?
minimum age for Hajj is 12 years old. So this year. Yes.
Younger than that, if they're going with you,
They will not get. You will not be able to travel to Jeddah without a Hajj visa. During that time, they have.
so all the general tourist visa gets cancelled.
I don't know the exact answer to that. I will have to check and get back to you. But yeah, the airline will check to see that you have a visa for Hajj. Yeah.
Can you just talk about some of like the general guidelines for the passport photo and the personal photo as well?
Yes. So they're in the guides. So here, if I stop.